codes also. So according to Walmart, we will try to fit it into that scenario. Okay, so company code is nothing but legal entity. If you want, I can just write it here itself. Sorry. Okay, leave it. This is legal entity. I'm just trying to remove the further characters. Okay, within the company code, what do you think? What will come within the company code in the enterprise structure? So what will come below the Walmart India? Let's take an example of Walmart India. Within Walmart India, what are the additional things which will come?
Plants.
Sorry?
Plant or cost centers.
Plants will come because within, let's say, within Walmart India, I'll be having different warehouses. Okay, I'll be having different stores, right? So these warehouses, these stores would be normally considered as plants. Okay, so we are not fixing the definition, but I'm just giving you example. So within the company code, there can be different plants. Plants are nothing but the physical locations where you are able to store the material or from where you are able to deliver the material to the customer. So within company codes, there can be different plants. So plant 1 and plant 2. In this example, I'm just entering the 2 plants. So plant 1 and plant 2.
So Vikram, where group company code will fit in here?
No, see, group company code is not something which is part of the standard SAP system. When it comes to group company, it is, anyways, in SAP, there is a trading partner concept called as company. There is company code and there is company. But that is something which is not being used that much currently, because for group reporting and all, SAP uses a separate module called as SAP BPC, Business Planning and Consolidation.
Okay.
Yeah, we will talk about that also within finance. I don't want to, as of now, I just want to give you the overview. So we will not go in that much detail from the group reporting point of view. But within finance, we will try to understand the group reporting concept also.
Fair enough.
Okay, so within a company code, you can have multiple plants. Within company code, plants is okay. Plant is to store the material. Plant is to dispatch the material. So your warehouse, your stores, everything can be considered as a plant. Now, this company, Walmart India Limited, is also doing the purchasing, right? They also need the purchasing department because they are purchasing the material and then they are selling the material. So in order to purchase the material, what they will need? They need the purchasing department. So within one legal entity, see, there are different options. I can have a single purchasing department for Walmart India. Okay. Or I can have a single purchasing department for a particular plant. So each plant has their own purchasing department, or the purchasing is done at the company code level. So based upon my scenario, I can have multiple purchasing organizations within the company code. So this will come to purchasing. So I can have multiple purchasing organizations. Purchasing departments, you can refer in SAP as purchasing organization. So purchasing organization 1 and purchasing organization 2. Similar to the purchasing organization from where I am purchasing the materials, I can have the sales organization from where I am selling the material. So you can say maybe the store itself is my sales organization, or within the stores also I can have within the sales organization I have other characteristics which can define my store. But in short, in order to sell the material from SAP, you definitely need the sales organization. And again, similar to purchase organization, I can have two separate sales organizations, okay, which will be also coming under this. So this is my sales org 1 and this is my sales org 2. So at the higher level, this is how the structure looks like. Now, can you tell me who is responsible for each and everything? Who is responsible for creating the operating concern? Who is responsible to understand why operating concern is required and then configure in the system? Which consultant will do it?
Finance.
Finance. Is it correct?
Controlling, I think.
Controlling consultant, right? Finance consultant. See, although in industry, FICO is treated like FI plus CO, but to be frank, the advanced modules of CO, like the COPA, like product costing, it is a responsibility of the CO consultant. Okay, I'm not saying FI consultant cannot become a CO consultant. There are many FI consultants who are working on FI and CO both, but ultimately the responsibility of operating concern belongs to CO consultant, right? So operating concern is handled by CO consultant. What do you think about controlling area? Responsibility wise, I'm not talking about whether I can do it or not. Who is responsible for creating the controlling area?
CO.
CO.
CO consultant, right? CO consultant is responsible for entire controlling module. Okay, that is the reason controlling area, operating concern, these are created by CO consultants. Who is responsible to create the company code?
FI.
FI consultant.
FI consultant. Why? What is the responsibility of a FI consultant? What he is responsible for? He is responsible for all the legal reporting as per the company's legal accounting, in short, not legal reporting, legal accounting. So whatever accounting needs to be done, that accounting is done at what level? It is done at the legal entity level. And that is the reason this legal entities is the responsibility of FI consultant. FI consultant is responsible to set up the company codes in SAP system. What about plants?
PP consultant.
PP. If there is no
Yeah.
PP in,
CO.
sorry Raj,
CO or MM.
CO or MM. Why CO?
SD consultant.
Some of the plant costing can be done by the CO guys. So basically the raw material and other stuff.
Okay. MM also you said. Okay. Any other answers? CO, MM.
SD.
SD.
also, yeah.
Someone said PP. Even that should be considered. So in short, plant is a joint responsibility. Okay, plant is a joint responsibility. Why it is a joint responsibility? MM cannot work without plant. SD cannot work without plant. CO cannot work without plant. PP cannot work without plant. Okay, but that is the definition for company code also. Can I implement SD without company code? No. Can I implement MM without company code? Again, no. Company code is the basic thing. If I don't have the legal entity, what I will do? What accounting I will do? And what I will purchase and sell? If I don't have the entity at all. If I tell you implement SAP, for whom? I don't know the customer. How will you implement? You need a legal entity, right? But the thing is, whatever information we need to enter in the company code, that is completely financial information. And that is the reason company code is a responsibility of FI consultant. But when it comes to plant, in plant, we need to enter some information which is related to sales, some information which is related to purchase, some information related to CO, some information related to PP. And that is the reason this is normally considered as a joint responsibility. Definitely, in the project, someone has to take the responsibility to set up the plants, but ultimately, this is the joint responsibility which is not coming under a particular area. What about purchasing org? And that is the reason, even if you see, I will show you in the system where exactly this plant is placed. Okay, so whatever enterprise structure you will be setting up, you will go into SPRO. You can see there is a folder called as enterprise structure. This is where you will be setting up the complete enterprise structure. So within definition, you can see within financial accounting, you will be able to create the company code. There are a lot of other things also which we'll discuss later on in detail. So there is a company code. From here, within financial accounting, you can set up the company code. Similarly, within controlling, you'll be able to set up the controlling area and the operating concern. Same way, if you go to logistics general, see for sales, there are different folders. But if you see the logistics general, this means these are the general settings responsible for all the logistics modules. And that is the reason you can see plant is appearing here. Because it is not coming under FI, CO, SD, it is directly coming under the general settings, which means it is relevant for all. Right? So that is the reason I told you plant is nothing but the joint responsibility. What about purchasing organization? Who is responsible for setting purchasing? 100%. Consultant is responsible for setting up everything related to purchasing. What about sales organization?
SD.
SD.
SD consultants. So SD consultants are responsible to set up the organization related to sales. Right? Any confusion here? I'm not going into drilling down. There are a lot of other components. So if I talk from the FI point of view, within FI itself, I can introduce many things, business areas, profit centers, cost centers. But this is a joint forum. So I don't want to confuse you of all the other modules also in too much of detailing of those objects. Okay, but within the, as I told you, within the module specific training, we will drill down the plant also. We will understand what are the storage locations. Within purchasing organization also, what are the purchasing groups? Within sales, what are the distribution channels, divisions? So that detailing we will do individually for each module.
Vikram, I have a question.
Yeah.
How does Ariba fit in this module? Like, because in Ariba also we can create purchase order and all those stuff. So in that scenario, how do we integrate with that? Is it?
See, Ariba is an external tool. As long as Ariba is concerned, it is a cloud-based tool which can be integrated with your SAP component. Which means if you are, as you said, you are creating the plant, a purchasing organization, if these things are already created in your SAP system, and if you want to use Ariba, then maybe you need to do the interface that whenever a new plant or whatever plants are already created in your SAP system, they will be mapped to the Ariba system.
Okay. So then the purchase order will not be created from in the module, is it? That's what I wanted to understand.
Raj, it totally depends. If you
Okay.
want to go for Ariba, you have to decide what would be your source object, whether the purchase order will be created in your SAP system and it will move to Ariba or the other way around. So
Okay.
it completely depends upon which tool you are discussing, because Ariba is one tool. Similarly, there is Hybris, there is SuccessFactor, there is BPC. There are many other external tools which you can connect to the SAP system.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Vikram, what about MDG, Master Data Governance?
Master data governance. So master data governance is normally used for creating the master data. Okay, we are still not introduced what is master data, so I think we can park this question. Whenever we'll be discussing about material master or GL master or cost center master, customer vendor master, at that time I will give you the overview of what is MDG.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any questions on this particular slide? Anyone has any questions? So maybe let me put this is very important, otherwise it will create a confusion. So within one client, you can have one or multiple operating concerns. Okay, within one client, we can have multiple operating concerns, one or multiple. Within the operating concerns, we can have multiple controlling areas.